Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I bet I am not the only booktuber or YouTuber or videoer of any kind who, whenever you put your makeup on for something else or get your hair done or whatever, that you have to record a video because you don't want to waste it. You know, this background is boring. Okay, that's a little better. So, since I'm recording or want to record, I figured I would do a book tag and probably link it to the next review that I do. Before I get to the first question, what I'm drinking, a raspberry cider. Cider makes every tag video better, in my opinion. So I'm gonna do the Goodreads tag. So this is a tag, as you might guess, from inspired by or related to using Goodreads. The first question is, what was the last book you marked as read? So I believe the last book I marked as read, and I have my Goodreads up to be able to see that. So I'm not making things up. I actually hear my husband coming down here right now, so I might be back in a minute. Was hood feminism. So I talked a little bit about hood feminism in the last video that I just posted, one of my 3 books posts. So that was the last book that I marked as read. The second question, what are you currently reading? I am currently reading, this is kind of embarrassing. BookTube is like a record of my failings. I am currently reading Middle Game by Shannon McGuire. I promise I am going to be done with that book. Today's Friday, so I'm going to finish it tomorrow because Saturday is my finishing my books day. It's good. I like it. It took me a while to pick it up, even though it was number 1 on my list. And I don't read a lot during the week in print, just because I'm busy with work and stuff. So it just feels like it's taking me a long time. I feel like I've talked about it in the last 172 million videos, but that's what I'm reading and I like it and I'm going to finish it soon. What was the last book you marked as to be read? Let me go to the data. My to be read list on Goodreads is not actually a list I use often to find books that I want to read. They're books that I've heard of that sounded good, but it's not really anything urgent or any sort of active list. I do have a separate Goodreads shelf called 911. So if I'm really interested in a book and I want to get it really quickly, I will put it on that. Or I sometimes will create shelves on Goodreads that are name of the libraries that I go to, so that the next time I go to the library, I can find a book that is listed as on their shelves. So the last book that is listed as to read on my Goodreads is Ring Shout. And I think I just marked that as to read yesterday because I was on Goodreads. I go to Goodreads almost every single day. And somebody's update was talking, it said something like 3 awesome black women kicking the Ku Klux Klan's ass or something like that. And I was like, sold, I'm getting that. So I actually have it in my Amazon cart right now, along with a couple of other books that I'm interested in reading soon. But it's only in my cart and I haven't picked purchase yet because I have all of those books on my beautiful book cart, and having them separated out like that and looking so beautiful just riddles me with guilt that I am completely neglecting them. But I am completely neglecting them. The next question is, what book do you plan to read next? So I really want to read The Song Below Water. I was excited about that book. I love mermaids and myths and mythical creatures and all of that sort of stuff. I mean, assuming that mermaids are mythical creatures. I'm not one to judge that. So I'm excited about that book. I'm excited about a lot of books, but it is next on my list if I'm going down a line that could change at any time. I'm definitely a mood reader, so I might be in the mood for something different when I finish the one I'm reading now. Do you use the star rating system? I do. Who doesn't use the star rating system? I know that people like to, talk shit about it, but it really is just a general gauge for what you thought of the book. So I use it kind of the way, if you kind of hover over the stars, Goodreads kind of gives you an idea about how to use it. With 5 being, I really loved it, exclamation point. I really liked it is a 4. It was okay. Or I liked it. It was okay. I didn't like it, or not for me, or something like that. So I tend to use this ratings. I use the rating more than I even write words. I tend to hover around a 4 because most books are at least a 3.5, and there's no half system in Goodreads. And if it's below a 3, I usually want to make sure that I put something in there so for myself, because it's rare and I want to know what I didn't like about it. I don't rate a lot of things 5, but some things I do. Of course, I have a Goodreads shelf called Must Reads, and often I put my 5-star books there, but it's not all 5-star books, and not all 5-star books get there. So my must read shelf is really a shelf of things that I think are either so good I want to recommend them to wide audience, or like the topic or the way the topic was handled, or a character or a relationship was just such a good example of something that I think everyone should read it. So it might not be that great of a book, but there's something about it that I think everyone should experience. So, but that is my must read shelf. It's not a 5-star. Are you doing a reading challenge this year? That is question 6. I do a reading challenge every year, but I think if the reading challenge is very personal, I almost always start it with 52. So I start my year January 1st, usually at midnight 01, with 52 books as the goal. And then usually sometime around April, I hit that number, and then I decide what I want to move it up to. So if it feels like it's been a really good reading year so far, or my schedule really changes and I'm not sure what's going to happen next to my schedule, then I might just add 2 more books per month to the number. But usually, like right now, I think I'm in the maybe 80s. Oh, I could look. Yep, 85. So I've read 85 books, and I never changed my goal. So it says that I'm 163% over my goal, which is still set at 52. So usually, like I said, April or May, I will add to it. So sometimes I will just double the number if it's been a good year, and I'll probably get to double the number this year. Sometimes I will just add a few. I really like to have the number at something that's easy, and then move it up, and then depending on where I am, like October, November, December, if I want to challenge myself, I push it. If I don't, I just want to hit it, then I just put it at something that's super easy. That light that keeps coming on and off is from my kitchen, because you can hear maybe my husband in there making, I think, cottage pie, I think. We watch food videos, and then he makes the things that we see, which is kind of awesome, actually. All right. Do you have a wish list? Of course I do, but it's not a real wish list. I have a Amazon wish list where I put things. I have a wish list on several websites for bookstores. I have a wish list on Barnes & Noble. I have a wish list that I've created at the library website. So yes, I always have a wish list. I always have books on them. Some of them are books I'll never see, and some of them have never been published or aren't published yet. So I always wish for more books, and I'm trying really hard to not buy anymore, or not buy very many. I also have 6 at the library waiting for me to pick them up, so I'm going to do that tomorrow. What book do you plan to buy next? So one of the books I plan to buy next is that one I just said, Ring Shout, I think. And then the other one is a book by, I'm going to say her name wrong, Tana Reeve Dew, because me and Kina, who is from another booktube, she's a new booktuber, and I posted in one of my videos that I wanted to do a buddy read with someone, and she responded that she would want to do it. So we picked Tana Reeve Dew, I think I'm saying it right, book that we both wanted to read, and we're going to read it for October and then do a YouTube live to discuss it. You can join us if you want to, and I will also link her channel down below. Do you have any favorite quotes that you'd like to share? I assume these are book quotes. I love book quotes all the time. There's lots of book quotes I love. Of course, I can't think of a single one, but Neil Gaiman is probably the author of several. On my Instagram, every third picture is the cover of a book and a quote from that book. It's not completely consistent. Every third picture is a book cover, but not every one of them, almost every single one of them has a quote on it, but not all of them. So go check out my Instagram if you want to check out some of my favorite quotes from books that I've read. Question 10. Who are your favorite authors? I don't have a favorite author. I have authors that I've read many of their books. Stephen King's one of those. I had a Stephen King phase when I was many, many years younger than I am now. I've read most of Neil Gaiman's books. I've read several Ted Dekker books, which by the end I didn't love. I've read a lot of Cornelia Funke. So she's probably, it depends on if you go by the number of books you've read by someone. So those, I've read quite a few of those authors. I also tend to really love authors who I've either met and seemed like amazing people, or that I follow on Twitter and we share values or goals or whatever. So like Daniel Jose Older, love that guy. Neil Schusterman, I love that guy. Jeff Zentner. There's an extra N in his name. Love that guy. I just read Hood Feminism by Mickey Kendall, and I've never met her, but I've followed her on Twitter for a long time, and after reading that book, I really like her. So there are lots of different reasons why I might like someone and who's an author, and sometimes it's about their book and sometimes it's not. Particularly like 2020, we have so much access to people that if I really like a book, I'm trying to think, there's a book that I read. There have been 2 or 3 books that I read, and then I found out that the author was just either not a nice person or has such a bad reputation with people that they work with, and then that changes my enjoyment of recommending them to someone else. I can still love the book, true. I won't even say because I'm not sure, and I don't want to besmirch someone, but it's easier to see authors as people and like them for that as it is for their books these days. Question 11. Have you joined any groups? I'm a member on Goodreads of several groups. I'm not active in any of them. I always think I'm going to be active, and then sometimes I'll go through and leave a group because I'm cleaning up my group list, and I'm going to be super active in the ones I'm still a member of. It never works. I'm a clown. I'm still a member of those groups. The only group, I just recently rejoined a group because a couple of years ago, as part of an in real life book club that was meeting, and then the leader left, and we've all reconnected and started meeting again via Zoom. She moved to Tennessee or somewhere, and so she recreated that Goodreads group, but we also created a group on Facebook. So my guess would be that's where we're going to be more active. Question 12. Last one. Are there any questions you would like to add to this tag? I don't think so. Like I said, I love Goodreads. I'm on it all the time. It helps me keep track of what I read. There are so many times that I've picked up a book that sounded really good, and then I started reading it and realized that I had already read it. So Goodreads helps me with that. When I start a book, I mark it, I find it, mark it right away. So that doesn't keep happening. Okay, that's all the questions. See you next time.